St. Aloysius Roman Catholic Church, 1230 Washington Boulevard, completed in 1930. The architect is Walter R. Meyer of Donaldson and Meyer, and the sculptors are Samuel Cashwan, who did the 12 Apostles, Corrado Parducci, who modeled the facade and doors, and Peter Bernasconi, who did the actual carving. St. Aloysius Roman Catholic Church is unique among Detroit churches in several ways. Its ornate front facade is sandwiched between two buildings, one of the few Detroit churches to share common walls with its neighbors, giving it a truly urban feel. Its three entrances have solid bronze doors with sculpted tympana that gleam in the late afternoon sun. Known as Everybody's Church, it draws its membership from throughout the city and beyond. Its location around the corner from the Book Cadillac Hotel, bringing it visitors from all over the world. But its most unique feature cannot be seen from outside. In 1929, the original church building, built in 1860, had been outgrown. With building space limited by the 72 by 100 foot lot and a need for far more seating than the 728 allowed in the old church, Monsignor John M. Doyle was inspired by a visit to the Cathedral of Milan in Italy. The cathedral has a large opening in the main floor that allows visitors to see the relics of St. Charles Borromeo in the crypt below. Doyle shared his inspiration with the architect Walter Meyer, who created a three-level church. A large semicircular well in the main floor allows everybody seated in the lower level to see the priest and the main altar. Along with the balcony above and perfectly designed sightlines, there was now room for 2,100 people. Meyer felt it was the most satisfying of all his endeavors in church architecture. To honor his work, Meyer was chosen to be the first layperson to receive Holy Communion in the new building. The Italian-French Romanesque facade of the church features a bounty of beautifully sculpted ornamentation. Niches above the side doors contain statues of the 12 Apostles, and the doors themselves are solid bronze with intricate tympana that portray all three aspects of the Trinity. The arches around the doors are intricately carved, as is the setting of the rose window above the main entrance. Angels stand at each corner of the roof, turning away from the mortal world to face the main entrance. Altogether, the facade of St. Al's, as it is affectionately known, is a veritable sermon in stone. So we're going to read now about the book building and the book tower. 1249 Washington Boulevard. The building was completed in 1917 and the tower was built in 1926. The architect is Louis Camper. The sculptor for the building is unknown, but the work on the tower is attributed to Corrado Parducci. The 13-story book building and the adjoining 36-story book tower are part of the vision that J. Burgess Book Jr. and his brothers, Herb Street and Frank, had for transforming Washington Boulevard, of which they eventually owned about 60%. They took a crumbling residential area and turned it into an exclusive shopping district, intending to rival New York's Fifth Avenue. The architect Louis Camper was their partner in bringing this vision to reality. The German-born Camper had traveled Europe studying its historic architectural monuments. Working with the Book brothers in Detroit was his chance to bring the artistry of European architecture to a new American form, the skyscraper. With the book building, he created a unique structure with a front facade befitting a high-class shopping district. The book building was one of Detroit's first modern office buildings. The book tower, built as an addition to the book building 9 years later, was one of Detroit's first true skyscrapers, the tallest building in Detroit until it was surpassed by the Penobscot building only 2 years later. The book building's quirky design includes layers of heavy ornamentation at the lower levels and 12 nude female figures on the consoles supporting the cornice. St. Aloysius Roman Catholic Church, built directly across the street in 1930, features 12 statues of the Apostles. In the 1970s, the priests at St. Aloysius Church jokingly referred to the book building's nudes as the wives of the 12 Apostles. Unconfirmed legend has it that the nude figures were placed on the building in full view of anyone exiting the church because of a feud between J. Burgess Book Jr. and Archdiocese of Detroit Bishop Michael Gallagher. The first 13 floors of the book tower were designed to match the book building. After that, however, Camper let his love of European-style ornamentation run loose. He adapted his personal vision of academic classicism to the skyscraper, adding a belt of oversized nude female figures at the 13th floor and festooning the top 10 floors with large-scale Italian Renaissance ornamentation. Critics feel that Camper missed the basic premise of the skyscraper, the emphasis on verticality. The huge horizontal bands of cake-like ornamentation seem to be a crushing bonnet, making one of the tallest buildings in the world when built look squat and top-heavy. However, the book building can be viewed as a unique historical bridge between the architecture of the Old World and that of the New. After the book tower, Camper modified his approach. His nearby industrial bank building of 1928 was much more restrained, and his design for the planned but never built 81-story second book tower was the epitome of the modern 1920s skyscraper. The book building and tower fell on hard times in the 1970s and limped along under various owners until it was finally closed in late 2009. Fortunately, the Detroit businessman Dan Gilbert announced in August 2015 that his bedrock real estate firm had purchased the building and tower and promised to bring this world-class, iconic landmark back to life in a manner that would make Detroit and visitors proud.